Joe's Confessions. My regrets from youthful indiscretions. I was about 22 years old, a college kid who got involved with a woman 20 years older than me. She was very open about being married and hadn't been intimate with her husband in a year. I've always been attracted to older women, so I didn't care if she was married or not. It's not my marriage. We had a secret affair for 2 years, and it was the most intense physical relationship I've ever had. I ended up breaking it off because I was developing feelings for her. She wouldn't leave him, and it became too much for me emotionally. But looking back on it from a strictly physical standpoint, I don't regret it at all. Tom's Tale: Remorse and Reflections on Past Actions. I met this married woman at a co-working space on a road trip. It turned into a full-blown, passionate romance for a few days, while I was also in a troubled relationship. She was an attractive woman with a dark side who needed validation. I also needed validation and was incredibly eager and somewhat inexperienced. She kept talking to me and found me interesting, which made me more carefree and romantic with her. The intimacy and chemistry was incredible and created an arousal of epic proportions. I was doing something so wrong, taking her away from another man and family as a toy. Two people in pure lust and passion, forgetting all about their roles and expectations. It was easy to give in to pure animal instinct. She has done so much for me, it has been wild to watch her transform from a mother and office worker to an absolutely hungry lioness who wants her mail. Alex's journey, from pride to regret in matters of the heart. I slept with a married woman who was in an open relationship. We matched through a dating app, and she was the first person I had a physical relationship with after getting out of a long-term relationship that very much hurt. So, it was nice to get close to someone and have physical intimacy again. There were clear boundaries, knowing it wouldn't go any further than just being together physically. It was a bit weird when I found out her husband had approved, and I even met him a couple of times, like out in public when they were together. The only two rules were if they were with their kids, and we saw each other in public to just ignore them. I also wasn't allowed to scratch or rub her back when we weren't being intimate. It was a bit weird at first, but it happened a couple of times a month for half a year or so, and then we kinda just mutually moved on. Regretful revelations. Jake's honest account of past relationships. She came onto me hard. I was feeling lonely and looking for comfort, so I went with it and enjoyed it a lot. But I'm a relationship person, so I started to yearn for something more. I wanted her to leave her husband for me, and while she had a huge crush on me, she couldn't do it. Looking back, our relationship would have been doomed from the start. I wouldn't have ever trusted her. After that, I've steered clear of married women and given them the cold shoulder even before anything could get started. I think cheating is repulsive, and I cannot be an enabler for someone doing it. When I see a ring, I turn myself off instantly. This goes for anyone in a relationship, of course, but married women are easier to spot from the get-go. Beneath the surface, Max's unveiling of personal remorse. I was at such a low point in my life that I was willing to take any affection that came to me. There was a married woman at work who would hang over me all the time. I knew it was wrong, but I let it happen. I can make jokes about how she would be making out with me in the manager's office, and then her husband would come around, and she would kiss him right after. Or how I would lay sweaty and naked on his side of the bed while he worked. It honestly led to me having much better self-esteem. I thought, if this woman is ready to ruin her marriage and life over me, I must be worth something. It made me think I was worthy, which led me to find my wife. I look back, and I am ashamed about it, but it got me to where I am today. David's Reflections. the weight of past actions on the present. I was 29, and I met this married woman with 2 kids at my gym. She and I developed an Instagram messaging relationship that got flirty real fast. She told me pretty early on that she was in an abusive marriage and wanted to leave him, but was waiting for the right time. We started talking more and more, and in the gym, we had to hide that we talked so much. We'd smile and say hi, but it was difficult to keep my eyes off of her just because of how attractive she was. Just an absolute fox from top to bottom. Hair and nails always done, dressed nicely, and just looked great. One day I told her I couldn't wait any longer and wanted to be with her intimately. She felt similarly, so we set up a day where we'd meet that week. At the time I was still living at home, so the only logical place to be together was my car, and that we did. Right from the start, it was the most intense physical connection, not just because it was forbidden, but because her body was just amazing. Seeking redemption. Michael's journey from pride to remorse. I'm gonna be really honest here. For a long time, I did not care at all. If she wanted to mess around with me, I figured it wasn't my sin, not my problem. She's either got problems with her guy or she doesn't take her relationship seriously. I'm not fixing either of those problems, but I can engage physically. So this kind of reckless behavior on my part went on for many years. I've been with quite a few women who were in various stages of relationships, some more serious than others, and I left a wake of destruction. Relationships failed when I came around, and the women were left to pick up the pieces while I moved on and didn't give a damn. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that I was a major contributor to all this emotional devastation. As the person enabling the cheating, I did not have clean hands. I should have cared about what the guy felt and should have been aware that I'm not acting in a vacuum. Lessons learned. Reflecting on past relationships. Mark's story. I was in my early 20s and worked in a restaurant. My coworker asked me out and we went out for drinks. This happened 3 more times after that. One time she had a flat tire when she pulled into the parking lot of our workplace. We were both working that night. I told her I'd help her put on the spare tire when our shift ended. As I was loosening the lug nuts, a car pulled up next to hers. A guy got out and said, "He's got it," and that he appreciated me trying to help his wife. I froze. All I could do was say, "Okay," tell them both to have a good night, and leave. We had been in their bed together, for God's sake. Tom's tale. Remorse and reflections on past actions. I worked at Walmart for a little bit. I was 20, and she had just turned 30. She'd make some flirty comments to me for a while. I eventually put in my 2 weeks because I had gotten another retail job with better pay. After that, she started being more clear with her intent, and we would spend our lunch breaks together. We never had sex, but we did fool around some. She started having second thoughts, and I didn't want to pressure her at all since I knew nothing about why she was cheating on her husband. I was kind of scared to ask her. But being a horny 20-year-old, I didn't really care. After I moved jobs, we just kind of stopped talking, which was certainly for the better. I got curious and snooped on her Facebook page one day last year, and it looked like she was happy with her husband and family. So, I figure she decided not to go through with it with anyone else. Unveiling the past. John's remorseful recollections. Yeah, I did it one time sadly. I knew she was in a relationship. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship myself that ended because my significant other cheated on me. So a part of me feels like it was some sort of mental revenge. It was kind of like an I've been wronged, so I don't care if I wrong someone else sort of thing. The next morning, I felt like complete shit, and I still feel awful about it. Alex's journey. From pride to regret in matters of the heart. It was mutually agreed upon between me, her, and her husband. We're all friends, and he gets a thrill from watching me engage intimately with his wife. He isn't the most well-endowed, so he enjoys watching me satisfy his wife because he's very self-conscious about her needs not being met. In hindsight, Dave's candid admission of past mistakes. I have a coworker who says, and I quote, "I don't care if I'm with someone who is cheating, that's their fault. They're the one who chose to cheat, and I'll be the other person without any guilt." Personally, I would never be knowingly involved in that situation. I'm not going to be the person enabling the cheating. I'm not going to contribute to someone else's heartbreak. Regretful revelations. Jake's honest account of past relationships. I used to be that way when I was in high school and in my early 20s. I wouldn't actively pursue someone who was in a relationship, but if I met a woman at a bar or a party and she came on to me and I found out later she had a partner, that was her problem, not mine. It was the "it's not my responsibility to keep you faithful" type of mindset. I wouldn't continue seeing them afterward, but I wouldn't lose any sleep over it either. I'm in my late 30s now, and looking back, I realize it was an awful way to behave. I'm lucky nothing bad came of it, but at the time, I didn't care. Sam's confessional. Revisiting moments of moral ambiguity. I've been with 3 women who were involved with other partners while seeing me, and I was aware of it. Either they disclosed their relationship status, or I already knew. I was young back then and thought it was exciting that I was able to be with someone who was committed to someone else. I remember one particular instance when one woman and I were lying in my bed naked, and she was on the phone with her partner, speaking to him as if nothing was amiss. She said she loved him while engaging in intimate acts with me, even though mere moments earlier I had been with her intimately. At the time, I saw it as a conquest and felt proud of myself. However, looking back after many years, I am filled with deep regret, especially regarding that specific moment. It's undeniably cruel when viewed in hindsight.